Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Enterprise Morning. Today, Thursday, I am Henry Ikwibike, who will take off this morning with the newspaper review segment. But please don't forget to visit our brand new website at www.enterprisetvnews.com, and also do remember to follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. Subscribe to our YouTube channel also at Enterprise TV 7. I have with me Barrister Vance Ufeli, who will serve us with insights on the newspaper reviews today. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And welcome to Enterprise Morning today.
Thank you.
All right, so let's kick off the newspaper reviews with the first daily. We have the Guardian newspaper, and the big story there says fresh concerns for public assets as repairs cost over 132 billion naira yearly. And we still have in the same newspaper on the bottom sleep Atiku to lead opposition alliance against Tinubu ahead of 2027 election. Boko Haram terrorists killed 12 residents in Chibok, and NNPC denies increment of petrol pump price to 1,200 naira. Ex-minister sponsor summon as EFCC arrest NSIPAX boss. So let's kickstart with the big story here that says fresh concerns for public assets as repair cost over 132 billion naira yearly. So are we talking about this cost? Is it embedded in the new budget?
Well, you have miscellaneous on the budget, but the truth is that what we've had all these years is that federal government hardly budget for maintenance of public infrastructure. Okay. And even when it is budgeted for, sometimes it is not utilized. You remember the turnaround maintenance of the design analyst in Maduekwe era, okay, of the refineries, yeah. The Port Harcourt refinery, Kaduna refinery, Warri refinery. There was this turnaround maintenance thing from 2012 to 2013 to 2014. They were talking about the turnaround maintenance. It took a long time, over 3 years. The refineries are still not working today. Okay, so now they are telling us what it's going to cost. I hope they still release the particular infrastructure because
they actually mentioned road infrastructure, pipelines, rail lines, cables, top a list of the issues. But the concern here is basically about vandalism, right? That it is as a result of gross mismanagement and of course vandalism. That is the reason why I guess they are staking 132 billion naira yearly on repairs.
Yes, vandalism will always be there when you don't have surveillance over public infrastructure. Even abroad, they have surveillance over public infrastructure. And surveillance doesn't need to be humongous money. You don't need to spend humongous money. Just a simple camera to, watch over who is violating what. Recently...
In a climb, of course.
Yeah, well, call it whatever it is, but just like the last time Buhari spent how many billion naira to fix cameras in Abuja. And he's been called out now because no camera was fixed anywhere.
Of course, they've all been vandalized.
The money was expended, and you understand. So our maintenance culture is poor. Even this amount of money they want to use to go and maintain it is just for me. I mean, they just want to sink that money again because after the maintenance, if they will ever carry out any maintenance, they will not, get the right security apparatus to guide it, to make sure that it's maintained. And that is the issue. There's no point spending money when you are not going to monitor or guide what it is you are doing. So a society that is more even polarized now, the people are poorer today than they were 2 years ago. Okay? And one of the factors that militate against public infrastructure is because the people, in as much as I do not want to condone that attitude of stealing public infrastructure, destroying public infrastructure, The government must look for a way to engage her citizens. There must be, our citizens they must be employed. They must have welfare. They must have soft loans. They must be doing something. You understand? So if the people are not doing anything as a result of a ruptured economy, they become tools for vandalization or whatever it is. Anything they see, they carry and go and sell. So there are two ways to look at it. These funds we want to put on this now could have been saved if people are gainfully employed.
True.
You understand? So that's what I mean.
All right, so let's take a look at this other story. NNPC denies increment of petrol pump price to 1,200. Of course, yesterday we saw on the dailies, and it made some big stories on the marketers daring the government on increasing our pump price to 1,200. NNPC is coming out to say they don't have any desire of increasing it to 1,200. But of course, we know the NNPC. They say this this morning, in the evening they say something else. Do you think there's ever the possibility?
The government never said they want to sell petrol at 1,200. What happened was that the marketers were looking at projections, the landing costs, and they were comparing it with the cost in the US and all that, where it is about 3 point something dollars in the US per liter. 3 point something dollars will mean that per liter is about 3,000 plus. Okay? And one of their leaders did a comparison that if you look at all over the world and all that, that in Nigeria, because we export and import and all that, we should be selling at 1,200. Okay. It should be. So, but when the news got out, like I saw on Facebook and social media and all that, it started trending that the federal government want to sell for 1,200.
And there were queues all over.
There was panic, yes. You understand? Panic buying started and all that. Okay, and that in itself became a very big story, a strong story yesterday. But the truth is that the NNPC is doing this at the right time to say, look, someone did an analysis somewhere that went viral, not the government. Okay, the government does not. The federal government of Nigeria cannot try it.
They can't try it.
They can't. Even if the landing cost become 5,000, they cannot do that one. You know why? Because the society will break loose.
But nobody expected what happened when the subsidy was gone. Dramatically.
That of subsidy was the government have been on that issue for too long. That what we spend, that most people don't even bring anything. And then they tell you that they brought and they have the calculations, DPR and all the regulatory agencies collude with them. And the government we're losing money every month, about trillions of naira every month. You understand? So it was understandable that there was a conversation around it for long that this thing should go so that we will know exactly what we spend every month. You understand? But this one we are talking about increasing it to 1,200 because in one America they are doing the economic indices of Nigeria and America, they are not the same. So I find that analysis faulty. Okay, what is the issue? The federal government, in their own interest, should not. They should not try to take this into. You know what it is to take fuel to 1,000? It's not the fuel. It's not the fuel. It's not the increase of the fuel, but the concomitant and ripple effect it will take on goods and services. You understand? Goods and services will skyrocket, and when that happens, you're going to have problem. You'll be buying the fuel at high cost. You'll be buying even water. This water we buy in bottle. You understand? Will be like 500 naira or 1,000 naira. Yeah, because it's going to affect everything. So I am not saying, I'm not shouting here today that the federal should not go there because of just fuel. If it's just fuel, there are people who can afford not to park. They can park their cars now. Decide not to on generator. You will not die. You can nosedive into the stone age and keep yourself there. You understand? But the other goods and services like food, the inevitables that is going to affect, that is the reason they should not go there.
Exactly. All right, so let's move through the next daily we have, and this is coming from the Nigerian Tribunal, and the big story there says 2024 budget designed to take care of ruling class trade union Congress TUC says, and the writer there says once inflation crashed from 28.20% to 9.4%, demands implementation of all agreements with government, insists 2023 was a year of lost opportunity and dashed hope. And on the top slip of the newspaper, we have Fan keeps mum 7 months after thieves carted away Lagos airport cables. Now let's go to our regional country because it made headline on the Nigerian Tribunal, and I think it has a reason for discussion on the show. It says Sierra Leone charges ex-president Kuruma with treason over failed coup. ECOWAS to relocate him to Nigeria today. How dangerous is that?
Well, coup is an offense. Treason is an offense. Okay, so virtually all over the world. In fact, there are countries where you are not even tried. The person is executed immediately. Once the person is caught, there are countries where you are not tried. But in this case, it is good that the government of that country, Sierra Leone, is looking into that matter. This is not the first time we've had someone in that light. We've always had that country, have always had that issue, okay? So, but what is important is to ensure that he's dealt with in a way that it becomes a deterrent. All over the world, it's not acceptable for you to make an attempt to take over government thereof, one side or wholly, without adopting the constitutional means of election. Okay, the moment you bypass election to take over government, even if it's one part thereof or wholly, is treason. And when you look at it, the penalty is almost the same thing even all over. The penalty is grievous because it's a capital offense. And it not only does it destabilize the country, it destabilizes processes. It put the country at the verge of animalism, that it is about might now, just like animals, the way they live in the jungle. There are no written constitution in the jungle, okay? The most vicious among the animals are the ones that write the rules with violence, okay? And the prey are the ones who go under. The predator are the ones that dominate by virtue of their size, their capacity for violence, and the rest of that. So to enable human society stay away from such primitive and incivility, rules are made, laws are made. If you want to be a president of a country, there are procedures, okay? Whatever it is you want to do, there are procedures. So I think that is fine.
But my issue is, I understand all of this you have said, but our issue in Nigeria is why relocate him to Nigeria? ECOWAS is relocating him to Nigeria. Why? Are we repeating the same thing Olusegun Obasanjo did with, was it Sierra Leone or Liberia?
Liberia.
Yes.
Liberia. Yes, that's Charles Taylor.
Charles Taylor. Are we seeing the same thing again? Why bring him to Nigeria knowing we have lots of a plethora of issues we still haven't dealt with?
Nigeria is the leader of ECOWAS as we speak. Okay.
So must he be brought here?
Well, the number one man of ECOWAS is the Nigerian president as we speak. Okay. So I don't know the resolutions that were reached to the effect that you brought to Nigeria. I don't know the resolutions. But you also know that the ECOWAS court is domiciled here. You know, not too long ago, the military government of Niger, you know, they brought a case to ECOWAS court. They filed a case not too long ago in Abuja.
After they had taken over.
After they had taken over. They filed a case. They filed a case against the what do you call it, the political class that are, you know, that are opposing them. You know, there's always an opposition. Yeah. But the case did not see the light of day because the court ruled that your government is illegitimate. Your government did not come as a result of democratic ethics and principles. So why should the court to pretend over? The case was thrown out. Now, I don't know whether he's been brought here for the purpose of trial or whatever it is. Or I don't know the details. But, you know, on easy lies the head that wears the crown. That resolution, I feel, but the truth is that when you say ECOWAS, what is ECOWAS? It's not Nigeria.
But the truth of
ECOWAS is like UN in the UK, in the US. ECOWAS, see, the money Nigeria has spent on ECOWAS, there's no African country that can spend such money. Even when during the ECOMOG soldier peacekeeping mission, Nigeria contributed, virtually.
But my issue is this. My issue with this story and its effect to Nigerians is I could remember very vividly many decades ago when our regional countries, I guess Liberia or Sierra Leone, had the same issue, and Nigerians resident in those areas were amputated, legs and hands, short sleeve, long sleeves, and all of that. Don't you see that happening with this kind of thing happening? Knowing that this man has lots of men over there who he might direct and similar incidents.
It could go that way, especially when the people, if the people are overwhelmingly against him coming here.
Oh, okay.
They may descend on our people over there, saying that we are colluding or whatever it is. You know, the class that will amputate people's hands and all that, they are rebels. Yeah. And these rebels, they have limited information as to what international laws are. Exactly. And regulations. True. So there's a way country we start, just like when Nigeria was threatening the Nigerian military and then they replied and said we should mind our business. Okay? That if the president want to take action against them, they will come to bomb us here. You understand? So there's always that they want to do that. So, but the truth is that there's nowhere ECOWAS will just fold its arms and watch over and gloss over the issues, even in ECOWAS failings, because the international organization that have really failed Africa is ECOWAS. Okay, the only time you hear them is when they are always reactionary. They are never preventive in any of their policies or their laws. They do not guard anything. It's only when somebody has taken over government forcefully or when somebody is threatening to take over forcefully. That's when you now see ECOWAS issuing statements and all that. Okay? But the headquarters of the issue under reference is that Nigeria is a main player. Yeah. Okay? And being a main player, you know that it requires a lot to go by.
Right. So let's look at this other story on the Nigerian Tribunal. Also, 2024 budget, NAS gets highest allocation in 25 years. There's no gainsaying that the legislature are ilk to the issues we have when it comes to the gross ineptitude of leaders in this country. But how bad is this? Knowing that 25 years, 2024's budget, NAS is getting the highest allocation.
That is allocation. You see, National Assembly, they are the ones that approve funding. Even after you budget, even after budget, the National Assembly have input in the release of those funds and those borrowings. You see all those borrowings there. The fact that it's in the budget does not mean you just go and borrow. The president will still transmit a letter to them when they want to take those loans. And they will still debate it. Okay. You understand? It's in the budget does not mean, it's in the budget by projection that we're going to borrow. But if the need does not arise.
Arise, okay. It might not.
You might not borrow. So, and when the need arises, you have to take, that is, you see it now when the president will send a letter to the Senate president and he will read before then that he has intention to borrow here, and here, and then they will debate on it and approve. You understand? So like the clearinghouse, they have appropriated so much money to themselves. In 25 years, this is the highest they have. And this is coming on the backdrop of the fact that they just bought bulletproof cars of very huge amount of money from the previous budget. Yes. You understand? And this one, you know, so you see that because the people do not rise against them, they will always budget, make the highest listing for themselves. You know, the people do, how many are they? You understand? And if you look at how much goes to just that few family, okay, compare it to what is left, okay, what is left for capital expenditure and so the cost of governance is still very high, okay. we need to begin to consider a different kind of legislature, possibly a unicameral legislature. Because what you have now is a bicameral.
That entails what?
Yeah, bicameral means you have two houses,
Okay.
House
Like
of Rep, and the Senate.
Yes.
Unicameral, you have just one house.
Oh, okay.
That will do the function of what the two does here. You understand? So that would cut down costs, okay? In which case, your representation at the house will be limited, okay? But here, you have too many representations, and the people cannot assess these people representing them. So is it for good that they are representing us to earn that huge from our national budget? Or is it a disadvantage that will have them that much, earning that much, but we cannot find the reflection of the dividends of democracy based on whatever it is they discuss in the House? So there must be a deliberate effort by this country too. But when you push the conversation further, you will not be asking yourself, who are the persons who are in charge of drawing up a legislation for unicameral legislature as against bicameral? It's still the National Assembly.
The National Assembly.
So are they going to draw up a law
that favor them for something?
So that is why where you are in a country where politics is not about principle, it's not about governance, it's about survival. That's what you get here.
True. All right, so let's move to our last daily for today, and it's coming from the Punch newspaper. And the big story there says APC promises heavy defeat as Atiku eyes 2027 presidential bid. The writer there says Atiku has wisdom, capacity, energy, will run in 2027, says aide. PDP welcomes ex-VP orders. And also on the same rider, we have APC says ex-VP will be defeated again. APC says ex-VP will be defeated again. Obi will contest. Atiku should support him. Labour Party insists. And on the top slip of the newspaper, we have federal government to withdraw recognition of Kenya, Uganda, and Niger universities. EFCC threatens Buhari's ex-minister's arrest over 37 billion naira of fraud. Barrister Ofeli, let's talk about this APC promising heavy defeat as Atiku eyes 2027 presidential bid. I know we have discussed this some couple of days back, but I think I feel it's still, since it is still in the front burner, I think we should maybe throw some light on that again. Atiku is becoming too optimistic, even when it's looking like it's a smoke screen. Don't you think so?
What I expect him to do is to look for how to merge with all these parties. That's what I expect him to do, because, well, maybe it's in his plan to so do, because he has said it before. Maybe that's why he's saying he will defeat, and the APC saying no. And if they go out to the polls with this Peter Obi one side, Atiku one side, they're going to replicate 2023. That's what they will do, because, we don't have that huge turnout. Okay? You have 8 million here, 8 million here, 6 million. That's what they scored, the three. Then the other small parties with their meager votes, very small votes. Okay, so the 8 million that Atiku got, okay, and the 6 million that Obi got, if you put it together, assuming but not considering that LP and the PDP merge, which is very improbable, and decide to take one party, one person, okay, either Obi or Atiku. Both of them are popular. Yeah. Both of them are popular. And then those two contest against APC. So they will give APC...
With Professor Yakubu still on the throne, do you think it's...
Well, it's going to be a different dynamic, is what I mean, because I know here the political consciousness has actually heightened. Okay, it's going to be tougher now, but the only way APC can upstage them is if the result is not of merit. if they rig it.
But it has always been the case now. So
You understand what I'm saying? But in this country, we've had a case where opposition was defeated now. That was because Jonathan was also altruistic. He brought someone who he felt could handle the process, and he gave them free hand to go through the process, believing that he's very popular and when he lost. So in this case, I know that APC would not want to give any chance, but it will be a keen contested election if we have merger. Because in the first place, that's what APC did before they got power. You understand? So why shouldn't PDP do it to redefeat? Yeah, because the APC did it to defeat PDP. PDP can also go and PDP or LP, whatever it is, they should go and look for how to merge and come back, give APC a good fight. If they give them a good fight, we'll see how it goes.
Now, talking about what APC has been able to do, don't you think it's at this point, don't you think it makes sense to maybe give Atiku a bit of empathy, knowing where he's coming from? This was a man that would have been the right person to have taken over the candidacy during Moshood Abiola. He contested with him in the primaries, right? But Moshood Abiola was allowed to head, and coming from his history in politics, don't you think it's time, like we did give Buhari the opportunity after failing so many times, don't you think it makes sense to say, okay, this man has tried, let's allow him?
There is no empathy in politics. There's no empathy in politics. You see, not like they gave Buhari the chance because he has tried 4 times and failed. No, that's not why. That's not why. He won because there's a presumption that Jonathan was not doing well. There was that presumption that he wasn't doing well at all, that corruption under him was more, that he didn't, a lot of opposition against him, coupled with the fact that even INEC compromised in that election too. Yes, sure. INEC compromised. So he got it on the basis of that, not because he's a big, whatever it is he has contested so many times. It was as a result of sympathy. No, there's no sympathy. I just told you about the case of Lion yesterday. We talked about it yesterday, exactly. Like Bayelsa State. This is a man that was already rehearsing. A day to the day, court made a pronouncement that the other man won. You understand? Now, if politics were a game of sympathy, the subsisting governor now would have said, okay, but you got this thing already, but if not for the court, let me do 1 term so that you come in for second. There's nothing like that in politics. It's possible now that guy now, Lion, may not smell that place again. The same thing in Imo State.
Exactly.
You understand? So, like I said, once you clinch it as a governor, the next thing is how to plug all the loopholes to ensure that you come back as a second term. And that second term is not even enough. After that second term, you now look for somebody, a stooge, that you put there that will cover it. That's what's going on in River State.
Exactly.
So politics is not anything about sympathy, nothing simple. They don't do that. They just make sure that it's about interest. So that's what it is.
All right. So that is just about the time we have today on our newspaper reviews. Today, I'd love to say thank you to Barrister Evans Ufeli for being part of our discourse today and making sense of our big stories on Enterprise Morning Newspaper Reviews. So when we return, Nnamdi Kanu may be within touching distance of freedom. We'll talk some more about that when we come back. It's still Enterprise Morning. Please don't go anywhere.